Hi Gemini, welcome to your reading for October 2018. This channel is called The Witching Hour. My name is Michelle and I'm a witch. I'd like to say thank you to everybody for joining me. Thank you to all of you who are returning, and for those of you who are new, welcome and merry meet. Thank you so much for your likes, shares, subscribes, comments, and especially your donations. They are what keep this channel going. And your comments as well. They keep me going. They really do. You all say such beautiful, kind, and loving things, and I send that love right back to you. If you would like to donate to this channel or make an arrangement for a personal reading with me, the links are in the description box below the screen. Today I am using Sacred Circle Tarot by Anna Franklin and Paul Mason. I am also using Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards by Barbara Michael John Free and Flavia Kate Peters, and illustrated by Richard Crooks. If necessary, I will be clarifying with Hanson Roberts Mini Tarot. I pray that you will be surrounded by love, Gemini. You will have everything you need, and you will do what your heart desires to do in this world. I call in the elements of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, and ask for the presence of the directions of north, east, south, and west. And I will read a blessing by Travis Bowman. Here and now, I evoke the elemental force of air, the winds of intellect and imagination, swirling source of flight, breath, and life. I seek the open sky within myself, that I might breathe deep of freedom, ideas, sounds, and space. I call you forth to sweep away all that accumulates in the unseen places, and to sing beauty into the world. Wing and feather, storm and leaf, air, I call thee hence. Love, security, and freedom. And this card popped out while I was shuffling. I wanted to take a look at it. The underlying energy of expression in the Queen of Discs. Earthiness and grounded. Manifesting the heart's desires, maturity, stability, security. Going to be keeping those things in mind as we do the reading. In love, past, present, and future. The underlying energy in love, Gemini, is water. Oh, love itself. In the King of Cups. I just thought of Jane Eyre when I looked at this dog. It reminds me of... It isn't one. I'm not sure. It might be. What are they called? An Irish... Oh, I forget the name of the dog now. But it reminds me of Pilot, the name of the dog, in Jane Eyre. Let me just tune into the energy of your cards. Okay. Father figure energy. Rebel energy. Yes, that's the energy I feel is the rebel. Seeds of intention, nonconformity, free spirit, unconventional. That's the word. Unconventional. Unconventional love. Unconventional path of love. This is the person who does not want to follow the rules, doesn't even know what the rules are. This is a pure spirit, but that doesn't mean that they always stay out of trouble. Doesn't mean they can't cause problems, but it doesn't necessarily always mean that they're a bad person. It just means that they don't want to be held or bound to any one way or one system of things. A free thinker, not necessarily a progressive thinker, but a free thinker. Doesn't like the ties that bind. And if that is you or a person you are connected to, Gemini. But yet I see this energy, now my eyes being pulled to the underlying energy of love, of water, emotional maturity. And I'm seeing that maybe, they feel, this person feels that their own way of love, of loving, is the better way for them, that they can figure out their own way, that their system is more evolved, their way of loving is more evolved than those of the past. Past betrayals color their, not perception, but no, their perception is keen. There are no misperceptions about their actual experience. I feel a person who needs to be given credit for their experiences, credit for the thoughts and the conclusions that they have reached. Having influenced their decisions in love, and I think that should be acknowledged. If that's you, Gemini, or someone you know are connected to, I do feel that. And presently, the reward, there it is. This is a long term. Now I'm also feeling that there was a breakup in the past. So there was a divorce, a breakup energy. Old ways, old ideas of love, old, I do feel someone, you've been lied to, or you just really got the wool pulled over your eyes in the past, but then now have renewed your sense of love and are kind of going by your instincts, following your instincts, flying by the seat of your pants. And I just keep getting the word seeds. Seeds. The energy of being wild and woolly one. I think that your own way might be more evolved, even though it is more undeveloped and less refined, quote unquote, than older ideas of love and expectations. It seems as though this new way, while it seems less evolved or less established traditionally, is way more fulfilling and actually more rewarding and actually much more long term it holds within it an intrinsic value of longevity. I really just feel that another strong pull to say, it's like to give credit to you or the person who you're thinking of who has these new ideas about love, that they those unconventional, unorthodox ideas deserve more credit than they're getting. And in some ways, the old ways or outdated or outmoded ways got more acknowledgement than they deserved. And that's what I feel, this unconventional type of expression of love. To just go by your instincts. Force, 10 of Wands, and possibly this perspective is being forced on you. To accept all of this newness where you might be, and I'm feeling the energy of a person who is more traditional in their expression of love, and a person who is more unconventional, trying to force their seemingly more evolved and forward-thinking and progressive ideas about love onto you, while you are exerting to some degree some energy in pushing back, and neither of those approaches is working, and you're needing both to find the middle ground and not to force the issue. Some of you were forced, some of you watching were forced to accept conventional ideas and practices of love is what I'm getting. Practices of love. And we have underlying energy of the High Priest. Yes, that's conventional thinking. What someone believes is the highest good of all. Now that depends on the code of honor and the code of conduct. You know, that really, what needs to happen here, I'm feeling, is the need for people to create their own code of conduct individually, and then like minds will come together and agree upon the most common denominator and the most the value that holds the most intrinsic work that's most important, the thing that you have that's most important in common. So these different ideas about love, these different backgrounds and experiences. I mean, I do feel that there was even some kind of forced love practice or marriage, or forced marriage, or along those lines, someone forcing their ideas upon you, literally forcing their practices upon someone, literally, and saying that that was for the highest good, and no choice but to follow that blindly, and yet knowing intrinsically, intuitively, that it wasn't your path, and that to some degrees for some of you, that it was even wrong morally, in a universal way, that no one would have practiced this type of life, would not have practiced love in this manner. It's good that you don't equate it with love. And yet here we have the underlying highest good of all. The High Priest does not necessarily know what's good for everybody. What the High Priest knows are the universal laws. The High Priest knows tested, tried and true methods of practice that are always having the underlying and underpinning motivation of love. So there you see, there is the proof of anyone in any position of spiritual authority or any authority, that the underlying and underpinning practices, the underpinnings of any practice must be laid on the foundation work of love, true love. And love does not seek to harm in any way, shape, or form. Love does not seek to gain power or control. Love does not force itself upon someone. Love simply is. And There is much freedom and respect for love. Love is freedom. Love is respect. Love is not freedom to harm. Love is freedom to love. It is the epitome and essence of freedom. And that there are certain voices of authority that can be trusted, and most importantly, to trust your own inner voice of the authority of your own experience and your own understanding of things. And that you give yourself the time and the space to figure things out, and mostly to be led by your heart. Your heart is mature. You have been brought up to this maturity. You have been brought up to this understanding. This is a higher calling for you, to be innocent and pure. And you have found the emotional freedom and the stability. And you will not, love does not force itself upon anyone. And we don't even force our freedom upon anyone. You know, it's really important simply to embody the energy of freedom. It will practice of its own accord. It will express itself of its own accord. If you are forcing freedom, then that's freedom working against itself, and freedom doesn't do that. And neither does self-empowerment. Self-empowerment is not about exerting force. And having that practice pounded or driven into us might cloud our vision about how to empower ourselves. We might not know any other way or have any other frame of reference about self-empowerment except exerting external force upon other people. And so we think if we find the right way that we think would not harm anyone, we want to impose that on people. We don't feel that we're imposing, but that is the nature of what we are doing, because love does not impose itself upon anyone, and neither does freedom, and neither does power. They simply are. And they exude themselves with respect for all and love for all. They would never force themselves on anyone. So there is that clear understanding and that balance of the two, the dark side of what people can do with divine energy. They can work great evil with it. And yet, intrinsically in and of itself, it is for the highest good. So this is what's being sorted out, so to speak. And here is the warrior in the past, having had to hold your ground, having had to come to terms with your raw instinct and stop doing these inner battles against yourself because of what you've been told was right or wrong, but because you wanted to follow your heart. You wanted to follow your heart. And you are letting your heart inform your mind. You are letting your heart inform your spirit. You're letting spirit inform everything without imposing. And clearly there's an opposition or a division. This, surprisingly, is I'm getting an actually good feeling from that card of opposition. I feel that the two are coming together now. The two are coming together. The duality, the supposed duality, these seemingly opposites are coming together in unity, and it's transforming things. There is an end of forcing love upon someone, forcing our ideas about love. We're loving in freedom now. It has gone from holding our own, holding our energy in a manner of defensiveness and going into, spirit is bringing the two together. I'm seeing a soldier as well in the military, in the area of freedom, past, present, and future. The underlying energy of freedom is the Tower. Yes, things are definitely getting shaken up by spirit, for sure. For sure. I do see like a rocket, almost like yeah, like a space shuttle taking off. The idea of this venture taking you somewhere and seeing it kind of go up in smoke. You were thinking that it was going to go take you far. And this is the underlying reason for what is going on. Is having to rethink everything. But now it's not figuring out, well, what's the good and bad of the situation. It's more, oh, I see now one side is light and one side is dark. And it depends on how the individual chooses. It depends on what's good to me is bad to another. What's bad to another is good to me. What's good to them is bad to me, etc. And finding out that we have that darker side who is willing. So now you have, like, say things, for example, thou shalt not kill, that type of a sentiment, right? And yet the warrior, is meant to protect, same as law enforcement and all of that. And yet, so killing is good and killing is bad. Well, what is it? Is there just one? Sometimes with some things, I wouldn't say with killing, but with some things like that, like those major heavy-hitting issues, it's like the same thing. The very same thing and principle can be good and it can be bad. And we've kind of figured it out. We've kind of figured that out. We kind of know. Another major arcana and two key figures. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana. 2 key figures here. 2 tens. Cycles are definitely major cycles are being in upheaval at this point, all to bring about peace. Presently there is peace of mind, there is love, there is understanding. Your cup runneth over. Your connection to spirit is good. Your love will take you far. Your love will be fulfilling. And that's the only person you have to apply it to. And there you have it, a whole new beginning. Ace and 2 aces. So we have 2 tens in love and an ace and 2 aces in freedom. And the ending of that cycle has brought you a new beginning and set you free and created freedom in your life. Someone leaving a job, and I do see the military again, maybe possibly. I see someone quitting a job, and then I also see someone coming home in the military. That this energy of the Queen of Swords is very similar to the energy of the warrior, woman, the feminine and masculine energy, and then the coming together of the two. Transmuting, what I feel is the transmutation of the energy of masculine energy into feminine expression is what I'm feeling. I do see someone leaving a job. Again, I see it. Changing everything, moving in marriage. Someone moving. And the overarching energy in the message of spirit, I will take from the Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards. Cleansing, clearance, the broomstick, jumping the broom. I think that does apply itself. We have the Watchtower of Spring, which is the energy of renewal and the energy of awakening. So cleansing, renewal, and awakening, all here. All here. So all of these changes are good. All of these changes are for the good. All of the awareness you have acquired is for the good. I think there is a mother figure here, a matriarch in the family, supporting a very unconventional love amongst the younger generation. Some of the matriarchs and ancestors have set in place a traditional form of love that was unfulfilling and could sometimes be considered as being harmful even, or at least it was harmful in the sense that it did not work to your highest good or to the highest good of everyone, but only for it served its own time and place, and could no longer be respected or honored. It could no longer be honored indefinitely, and it needed to give way. It needed to give way. And that there was like an inheritance possibly at risk of being lost. At risk of being lost and having to fight and defend for what was yours in this melee that was created through these opposing viewpoints. Yeah, having to champion your own cause, but you did, it did happen. It did happen. You championed your own cause and created lifelong generational changes within a system that was going on and didn't think you could do it, but it did happen. It did happen, and now that's what seems to be going on, is that this huge change was created. I'm just taking a moment, excuse my silence, but I'm taking a moment to get any more energy off of the cards before we wrap things up here. Yeah, I literally feel in the conventional sense a father being opposed to someone's fiance, or opposed to someone marrying for fear of abuse coming from that person. Two sides, two different sides to the same story. A law enforcement brought in, or to enforce some type of that someone's abuse. I'm seeing it. That's not what that card stands for, but I'm just reading the energies and the different scenarios that I'm getting in my mind playing out. Yeah, I just keep seeing this fighting against authority. And that this is what it's about. This is what it's about in the center of it all. So it is a good fight, like you fought the good fight. And it did create a change and a new beginning in a very long, age-old tradition. And it really did create some upheaval. And I do want to say that I do believe in the long run, it might not be at the stage of the game that you're in exactly right now, but you have brought a lot of awakening to people. And it will turn out even better. It will evolve even more so down the line. It will. It's not going to go back. I see someone getting a lot of money for a wedding. Like being given money for a wedding. And the inheritance word again, I'm seeing someone lose an inheritance but getting money for a wedding. Yeah, it's like you lost one thing but got another. And it's like, well, then I see like mixed feelings about it, mixed ideas and mixed feelings about it. But everything that needed to happen came out in the end, and it will continue to be good and create beneficial progress for one and all that were involved, because whatever didn't transpire when you wanted it to did create seeds. It did plant seeds in people's minds, and they will take fruit. And because here we have the Empress, everything flourishes with the Empress, and we have the Ace of Pentacles again and the Nine of Pentacles again. So you will have your path set, your individual path set. You will get the blessing, either from the matriarch of the family or from the goddess herself, and this will all be fruitful and it will all prosper over time, but you must be patient with it and let it develop in its own time. I hope that helped, Gemini, and I hope that I will see you again soon. Until we meet again, from my soul to yours, much, much love and brightest blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.